Hello, Tiger Nation, and welcome again to Keeping Your Eyes on the Tigers. You know, I feel like I have been slapped by Ali after that loss to Tulane week before last. It's just not good to lose a game on your own home floor. But, that just didn't sit right with me. And, really, that's not the real problem. Things just haven't been right at all. Last week was just a crazy week. And, coach is really kind of sitting on the hot seat as far as the fans are concerned. One of the things that is really, let's look at something. I said coach has not been, he's kind of on the hot seat, but it's one thing that I know about a little history of Memphis sports. Memphis has really never been respected by the outside media or, just really by the outside sports affairs, let's go back in history and look at something. When the NFL first started trying to extend, add more teams to the NFL. Memphis was one of the first teams that wanted to jump up and get in there, and the NFL, they told us, they said, well, I tell you what, y'all just improve that stadium some, and we'll look at giving y'all a team. So, Memphis ran down there and they redid the stadium and everything, and what did the NFL do? They went on and gave it to some more cities. Then they got ready to get some more teams in there, and Memphis wanted to try it again. They said, well, I tell you what, if you put some more, what they call them, club boxes in, and do a few more improvements, you need at least about 60,000 seats. We'll think about giving y'all a spot in there. And Memphis went down there and they built the boxes on both sides, and they added more seats. We got about 65,000 seats and everything. And what did the NFL do? They gave it to somebody else. Then all of a sudden they turn around and Houston wants to move since they can't get a stadium built down there. So instead of looking at Memphis, they looked at Nashville. They gave it to Nashville. So what did they do to throw mud in Memphis' face? They said, well, I tell you what, we'll go down there and we'll let them play in Memphis for 2 years while they built the stadium. And the NFL fans here in Memphis said, no, we ain't having that. We ran, at that time, they were still the Oilers. We ran them out of Memphis because, we were just saying, well, you're not respecting us, so we're not going to let y'all play here. The Steelers came here to play, and they had more Steeler fans in the stadium than they did the Oilers fans. But, that was one of the things that they did, And then we look at how Memphis has gotten disrespected, even in the NCAA. Our first big championship game back in '73 when we played Memphis State at that time played UCLA for the championship. We didn't get no respect in that game. They took that game from us. I can remember I was in service and I was down in Jacksonville, Florida. I was on my knees begging and pleading. I said, pass the ball in. Get a foul on Bill Walton. Bill Walton played the whole second half with 4 fouls, and they didn't call a foul on him or nothing. So they disrespected us. And so on and so on and so on. All through the season, all through the years, Memphis has just been disrespected because Memphis college basketball has always been, that's been our leading sport for this city. And so, we during the time when Penny Hardaway was playing, I think we made it to the Final Four, and they took that game away from us. Then we turned around and we get John Calipari in here. We get to thinking then, we said, well, wow, we got Calipari. We're fixing to move on up in the world and everything, And we were moving on up. We got Derrick Rose in here, and we went for the championship game again, and what happens, so a little controversy came up and we lost that game. But then after that, in order to throw a little bit more mud in our face, then they're going to come up and say, well, Derrick Rose got somebody else to take the test for him before he got in college and everything, and all of this, and then they wanted to take that game, they wanted to take the banner from us for being in the championship game. Less known, they really wanted to try to wipe out that whole season since Derrick Rose was there, But to throw a little bit more misery into that season there, John Calipari turns around and says, well, Memphis, y'all can kiss my butt. I'm going to Kentucky. And it was disrespectable for us to be trying to build a championship team here in Memphis and for Kentucky to come in, but then I guess they say that's business, So, we just got dissed by Calipari and we got dissed by Kentucky. But what has really been bugging the University of Memphis fans for the last 6 years or so is Memphis didn't go out and look for a big name coach to try to get in here. They gave a fella named Josh Passenger. Now, don't get me wrong, Josh is a pretty good coach. If you look at Josh, he's at the age, he's been coaching really all his life. At the age of 16, his father let him coach his AAU teams, and Josh coached. He won some championships in the AAU. As a matter of fact, some of the fellows that he coached down there in the Houston area were some big name players, and they even went on to be big name players in the NBA. NBA, I can't think of none of the names of them, any of them right now. But Josh coached up under Lou Holtz at Arizona. And then he came here and he coached up under Calipari. So, benefits of the doubt, give him the benefits of the doubt, And then he runs along and, I guess off of the coattail of Calipari, he had some good seasons in there, although that was Conference USA and the University of Memphis just ran through Conference USA. They, couldn't nobody beat us. I mean, we were just champions of Conference USA. But what happens? We finally, since we had really won all of those games, the Big East decided to let us play with them. Wow. Now that was the question. The question started coming up, after that was, could we or would we be able to, or can we handle being in the Big East? Well, the Big East folded. Well, they didn't fold, but the Catholic schools decided that they was going to take the name, and they moved on, like teams like Georgetown, and there were a few other teams. But then we were back in the boat with our old rivals, Louisville and Cincinnati, and Louisville decided, well, we're going to run on over here to the ACC. So, that was lost. But, we have just really these last few years have really been just some strange seasons. And then this season rolls around, and after last season, Coach, the championship games and everything, Coach just swore up and down, he was going to make some changes after last season, because he came up with that crazy idea of running the four guards, Nobody else in the world has thought about running four guard offense, But Josh came up with that, and the fans was really hot at Josh. I mean, last season they were ready to cut Josh's head off. And so he begged and pleaded at that last press conference and talked about, I'm going to make some drastic changes. And, he came along, but you got to look at, we lost 4 seniors last year, and they were all guards. So we come along this season, and we everybody's new. I've talked on that. We only had 4 players that were from last year. 3 of them were really the ones that only really had any playing time. So now here it is. We got five new faces on the team, and nobody has played any college ball. Well, some of them had, but they hadn't played in a couple of years or so. So, everything has been going crazy all the way up until this week. Then we lose to Tulane. That hurt. We've lost already some games. So this year, we're really struggling. In fans of Memphis, the fans of old Memphis State, the fans of the University of Memphis, we hate to lose. Even the commentators on the that was commentating the games talked about how bad the fans in Memphis hate to lose. But we hate to lose, and then we turn around and lose to Tulane. Now here's a team that we've always kicked Tulane's butt, no matter what. And then, so we leading into, after the Tulane loss, then we're getting ready to play SMU, our first road game. Now, we had a 9-game homestand, which I really didn't like. We need some road games in there to really toughen us up to playing. But anyway, SMU was our first road game, and what happens? We get back-to-back losses. So, things has really been looking a little shady with the fans for Coach Pastner. Then, to make it to add insult to injury, Iverson got suspended. Really, Iverson got suspended for the second time. And then while he's suspended, he retweets something that another fan has done said about Coach Passenger. Now, like I said, Passenger's on the hot seat with the fans here in Memphis. He's been on the hot seat. But now he's retweeted something, and then to add insult to injury again, here's Weatherspoon. Now, I don't know where Weatherspoon playing, if he's playing anywhere. He's an old player from 2 years ago, I think. He tweets about, I went through the same thing, And so, last week was just crazy. We lose to Tulane. Then all of this come up. Iverson is suspended. Nick King got a sprained ankle. Then come to find out Burroughs got suspended for something. These here, like Coach put it, well, they didn't break any law. They just broke one of the rules of the team. That was a law that the team had. So, what's going on? Then we get I can't remember whether it was from the, commercial appeal or whether it was from whether it was from the commercial appeal or whether it was from somewhere else. But the question came up, is Josh losing control over the team? So, things have just been crazy. We lost, and then, we went down to, we went down there to play SMU, and we got our butts kicked again. We lost to them 73-59. We just got stomped, and then they had this big old fella in the middle, Kennedy. He was playing strong forward, center, or whatever. But he came off the bench and just whooped the poor little Shaq and Nicholas. I think Shaq only had about 5 points and 3 rebounds. Nicholas had 11 points, but man, they had a bunch of turnovers. Pookie Powell. Pookie is really a freshman in a sophomore body. But anyway, Pookie had a bunch of turnovers and everything. But Cunningham came off the bench. That's this other little point guard that they got. He had 10 points. But I was well pleased with Hawkins. Hawkins came off the bench, and Hawkins had 9 points, and he had 7 boards. So, those were the good outlooks of that SMU loss, but things just went crazy, and then we come along and they didn't even come back home. They stayed on down there in Texas. We played Houston again yesterday, and when you playing, that's another road game. 2 road games back to back. So now here it is, we got to play on Houston's home court. We done beat them, so that means that they mad at us. But as it be, the Tigers went down there, and Houston is a little weak this year. They got a new coach there, although he's a good coach. We won Houston 62 to 44. The Tigers went down there and we shot 43% from the field, and we did pretty good. Even Nicholas hit another 3-pointer, but we shot 33% from the 3, and we even shot 75% from the free throw line, which they really didn't make it to the free throw line that much, but. We had 35 boards, so they had 31 boards, but we were still off on the offensive boards. We wasn't getting in there to get no offensive boards, really. We had 17 assists, so that was good, but we had 13 turnovers again, It's just rough, but Nicholas had another good game. Nicholas had 16 points and 7 boards. He had 4 blocks, and he had that 1 3-point shooter. Crawford has been coming back off an injury that he had a couple of games back, but Crawford came in and he played a little guard, and he had 12 points with 3 assists. And Johnson, our implant from Vanderbilt, he's been struggling all season so far. But Johnson came off the bench and had a good game. Johnson looked like the Johnson of old. He had 10 points and 4 assists. So, he looked good. I don't know how coach is going to do, with him later on. I don't know if he's, like I mentioned in the last thing about he was going to go with Pookie as point guard. So I don't know if he's going, he's got 3 guards there that he's running for point. But, it's just been crazy. And I guess we'll just have to look at the rest of this season as being a crazy season. You never know what's going to happen. So you got to stay tuned in. This Thursday night, we're playing Cincinnati here at home. Cincinnati is bringing an 11-4 record into the forum, but Cincinnati has also been struggling this year. They have changed coaches. Their old coach, I don't know what happened, but they've got one of the assistant coaches that they have made to coach. But only thing I can say is tune in. Let's keep them Tigers lifted up. But it's a wild and crazy season. So keep your eyes on the Tigers, and I'll see you after this game come Thursday. Bye now.